Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Tactless Radio. I am your host, Be Bad. Come on in, get some popcorn, grab a glass of wine, sit on down, get comfortable. I know it's been a while. Did you miss me? I missed you too. It's been about maybe a year since I dropped content, and that's because I am a team of one. I've been trying to do all of this by myself, but we persevere, we keep pushing, we keep moving forward. So I am trying to get more content out to you guys. As you all can see, we are in a better setup. We have better quality, better content, a better camera. So we're just doing things a lot better in 2025. So I want to talk about a couple things today that have been on my heart. And we're going to talk about Solar Punk versus CyberPunk. I want to specifically talk to my 92 percenters and my 79 percenters, if you know, about ways that we can specifically protest because we aren't hitting the streets. And I do unfortunately want to talk about something that is affecting a lot of Black women, which is that we are specifically being targeted, and that 300,000 women, as of right now, Black women, have been let go from their jobs. It's crazy. So let's go ahead and get into it. First thing on the docket that I want to talk about is this amazing concept that I recently learned about, which is solar punk. Solar punk, in my opinion, is probably the antithesis of cyberpunk. And you all are probably like, I've heard of cyberpunk before, not really familiar with solar punk. That's fine. That's fine. The teacher and me, we're going to talk about it today. So as a reminder, or for those who do not know, this is what cyberpunk is. Cyberpunk is an environment. It's basically a dystopian environment that is high-tech, low-life, setting characterized by an advanced technology system like AI, cybernetics, learn something today, contrasted with a societal decay, corporate control, and urban grid. It is very high-tech, low-life. It also is corporate and governmental forward, with the two of those things being able to control you. It has a lot of societal decay. And the aesthetic is typically neon grit, rain-slick streets, perpetual nighttime. It just looks like the earth is dying. If you were thinking about what that looks like in a setting, think of The Matrix, think of Hunger Games, think of Divergent. Any dystopian film that you have seen, that is the cyberpunk aesthetic. And in my opinion, I really feel like our media is consistent with showing us cyberpunk aesthetics and trying to get us really excited about a cyberpunk aesthetic, because that's where they want our society. That's the lane they want us to go down. That's really what they want us to look like. They want us to basically be little cogs in the machine while the government and corporations get to control us. We have no real food. As you all can see in a lot of cyberpunk aesthetics, there's no sunlight. It's always dark. We probably got rid of our ozone layer, and now we have like some artificial sun that has to reheat these nachos. But what I thought was really interesting, because a lot of us have been feeling dreary, dread, and just dumbfounded about what's going on right now in our society, with our country, that I just needed a little bit of optimism. I needed something to look forward to. Don't we all? And what I found was the concept of solar punk. I found the concept of solar punk. And I found the concept of solar punk to be something that we all could aspire to, because I personally don't like AI. I hate how we are utilizing AI. One, I don't like AI because the way that we have found to run AI is by creating these data centers that we specifically are putting in Black and brown communities, specifically putting them in poor communities, because the data centers, they need a lot of water to cool down. These supercomputers are running very, very fast. And when they are running, they are heating up like really, really hot. And they have found that not salt water, fresh water is the best way to cool down these processors at these data centers. But that water is coming from the surrounding communities' drinking water. So they don't have water to wash their butts, to wash their dishes, wash their clothes, to even drink. These people don't have water. It's being siphoned to cool processors and a data center. So we are already looking at some really big cyberpunk things going on, and I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. So what could we aspire to? In my opinion, solar punk. Solar punk is essentially a movement where technology and nature coexist in harmony. It empowers communities to have clean energy, vibrant cities with gardens, local farms, and solar energy. It prioritizes people and the planet, which is something these corporations and governments don't want to do. It's moving away from corporate structures, and it wants to be more local to the economies. So how do we do this? We have to start by making your own food. You can start with just simple herbs, doing a couple peppers in the back. We also need to reclaim our urban spaces. So we want to be more involved with our local governments and about what can be done with those spaces, making sure that we have ample garden spaces, parks, green spaces. We're planting more trees. We're not polluting our water. We also want to make sure that we're building community, that we are learning how to communicate with people despite our disagreements, build mutual aid groups with our neighbors, carpooling, exchanging DIY clean products, furniture, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. I don't even know if Craigslist is a thing anymore, but we need to get better with a bartering system. And I do want to shout out By Cat Alexandria on Threads, because she put together this amazing step-by-step process of what a solar punk community could look like. And I didn't write that and say all that on my own, so I always want to say my sources. Make sure, people, you are always citing your sources. So what makes me excited about the solar punk future that we could have is that, one, it is obtainable. People are using AI right now to make naked photos of Meg Thee Stallion and to create fighting videos of JD Vance versus Trump. And we are literally depleting water from communities to do stupid stuff with AI and with the technology that we have. Instead, we could use our technology to water crops, to grow trees, to make sure that our children are safe, to make sure that we have better communities, less traffic, that we can find ways like a high-speed train. Why this country is as big as it is and we don't have a high-speed train yet? Greed. High-speed trains, better transportation, clean air. We fix the climate issue. This would fix the climate issue. And the reason why I'm super excited and at least a little bit more optimistic about what's going on is because this is a possibility. Ways that we can make this a possibility is that we need to be better about our overconsumption. We need to use things until we can't use them anymore. We need to be better about utilizing what is of the earth. So growing our food, creating our food, not buying our food. And we need to be more particular about how we are utilizing technology. Technology should be used alongside Mother Earth. We should be using technology with nature. The way that we are utilizing it right now, it's going against nature. And we can feel it. I saw this video on TikTok of someone who took the Chobani ad placements out of a commercial. It originally was a yogurt commercial for Chobani, and it had beautiful aesthetics of what solar punk could look like. And someone removed the ads and all of the Chobani logos so that we could really get a sense of it. Because of course, it's still a corporate video, it's still a commercial, but it allows for us to imagine something different for our future, which I think, because we've just been really head down and in a lot of dredge of what our future could look like, we've not really had an opportunity to optimistically look at what our future could be. So my hope is that you learned a little bit more about solar punk. My bigger hope is that you go out and do solar punk stuff. We are finding ways to communicate with one another. Get a bartering system. Get out to your local farms. That's what's really going to help us. And I will get back to the solar punk stuff a little bit later when I talk about how we're going to protest. You know what? Speaking of which, let's go ahead and start talking about what we can do, 95%ers and 79% 1%ers. Let's talk about what we can do. Because here's the thing, there's a lot of discourse happening right now online, specifically with this TikTok creator by the name of Harmony, who I believe, according to her, is a biracial individual. I believe she's Asian, and then also says she has some Black lineage back there on the shelf. She basically said that Black women specifically, Black people, but Black women specifically, because we said since last November, we wasn't doing nothing. We not hitting the streets. We not making the signs. We not screaming and yelling and shouting. Y'all don't care. This is what y'all wanted. So have at it, right? She basically called us cowards because we weren't hitting the streets. She said that our ancestors were cowards. Some of our ancestors were cowards. You know, she also called us spineless because we won't go out and fight for everybody's rights as we consistently look at individuals in this country not care about ours, right? So we've been getting a lot of criticism and critiques because now stuff is getting serious. You know, we have DHS and ICE hitting the streets and really rounding up people, not just people who look indigenous, not just people who look Latino. They grabbing white people, they grabbing Black people, they grabbing old, young, they grabbing everybody. We are looking at 1930 Germany again, right? But we knew that. We knew that. The 92% and the 79%, we knew that. So it's like, what you want us to do? What you want us to do, girl? But the thing is, we are doing things. And I want to encourage my 92%ers and my 79%ers to continue doing things that is in line with self-preservation. Because what a lot of Black people have had to do in this country is think about the self-preservation of ourselves, of our families. A lot of us could not go out to the streets and march. There is a reason why Black children in the 50s and the 60s were so integral when it came to protesting and marching, is because employers were like, if you don't show up at this job, you won't have a job. But we still needed to get the message out, and we still needed to fight, and we still needed to protest. So the kids would skip school. The Black kids would hit the streets because the parents needed to have a job so they could feed their families. We are all in this together. But what we're not gonna do, because we understand, and we see it clear as day, is go out, hit the streets because they want us to incite some type of violence. They want to incite a civil war. They've been working on this forever. That's why they won't pass any harsh gun laws, because they want to have access to these guns because they don't want to lose the civil war again. So we already see the writings on the wall, which is why we are in the house, because it's safer in the house, because at least right now they grabbing people off the street. I will say that unfortunately in South Shore in Chicago, they went into people's houses, rounded them up late at night, children and all, people naked on the streets, zip tied together, put them in the back of a budget van and ship them off somewhere. They basically kidnapped people. So I can't even really say that they're not coming into the homes, because they are coming into the homes. But in the time being, what can we do as we are mindful of our own self-preservation? So this is what we're gonna start doing, or what y'all should be doing. We first gotta stop watching the NFL, basketball, NBA, MLB. Like Kendrick said, turn the TVs off. Those organizations, and if y'all want me to talk about how I feel that the NFL is just a modern day gladiator show where these white owners just love to see Black players die, I will. I'll talk about that at another time. But the time being, we need to be boycotting them. We need to be boycotting them. We need to also stop buying from large corporations. I haven't bought from Target since. Unfortunately, I do see some of my aunties in Target, but you gotta stop. We have to boycott the Targets, the Walmarts, the Krogers. We're doing Aldi's and Costco because they treat their employees well. But the big corporations, we have to boycott. We cannot be going to them anymore. For my Black parents, if you have Black athlete children that are graduating, encourage them to go to a HBCU. I don't want to see our top Black athletes going to PWIs to stimulate financially their athletic programs, because they end up being discarded and dealing with racism anyway. Our amazing Black students should go to Black schools. They should. At the end of the day, y'all the parents, y'all gonna encourage them to do whatever. I'm pretty sure those PWIs are giving them a whole bunch of money to make their white school better. Have y'all noticed that? Like, those PWIs that have amazing athletic programs probably wouldn't be much if the Black students that are always typically the more amazing students went to Black schools, you know? We also gotta cancel Christmas. I'm sorry. If your kids do want toys, let's look at Facebook Marketplace. Let's go to the thrift stores, secondhand stores. But me, what I'm planning to do is to make body butters, body oils, hair oils for my people. I'm gonna get the goods off of Etsy and buy locally. I think we need to figure out ways to stop with our overconsumption of just stuff. That Black Friday need to be a Red Friday, and we're not doing nothing on Cyber Monday. Just knock it out, right? We're keeping our dollars. Instead, treat your family to an experience. You know, grab everybody and go somewhere and have the time of your life. Also, with the go somewhere, we are no longer going to states that are oppositions. We are not going to the red states. I'm sorry, we're not going to Texas. We're not going to Florida. We're not going to Georgia. They don't like Black people. They are gerrymandering those counties to make sure that a Black person's vote is 1/10, 1/5, I believe. I think it's either between 1/5 to 1/10 of a white person's vote. Why would I go to Texas and spend my money? Why would I go to Florida and spend my money? They hate my guts. So we're not going to red states. We're not stimulating their economy. We're going to be buying local and buying Black owned. Point blank, period. Not much to say on that. We also need to make sure that we are collecting knowledge, physical collection of knowledge, because you know they're going to wipe away the internet. So when we need to be out in the backyard trying to figure out how to grow potatoes because the world is ending, we're going to not be in a great position at that time. We need to get books on agriculture, how we can make certain things in our own homes, how we can heat our homes, how we can cool our homes naturally. We need to figure out and buy generators, how we can generate electricity if all of this turns off. And we need to buy that knowledge in books, write it down while we still have the chance. Because the moment they get an opportunity to do, technological warfare, like China and Russia come in and they turn the Wi-Fi off, we're going to be in a bad position. We're going to be in a horrible position. They're already doing that. They're already trying to figure out how to come in and cyber attack us. So we need to be prepared. You know, we need to get real manual with things. We also need to figure out how to just be better community members. We need to be a part of our local communities. We need to get really familiar with our local farmers. You need to figure out who your alderman is. What is the PTA up the street at the elementary school doing? Who are your neighbors down the street, around the block, up the street? Do you know your store owners? We have to actually be better about getting out into the streets and getting to know one another. We have to. Because when this all goes down, all we will have is each other. And we also need to start putting Black knowledge in secret places and offline. Now, I've been learning hoodoo for a couple years now, and I have found that there's a lot of hoodoo information on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, online in general. And while I am appreciative of that, it's getting to a point where we need to go back to gatekeeping. Stop passing out those cookout invites. Noah, Trevor, Becky, they can't come. They can't come. Stop passing out. So stop passing those out, okay? We need to go back to gatekeeping, specifically Black knowledge and Black information, because they're spying on us. And y'all just giving up the goods. Stop doing that. Like, you all are making it way too easy for the CIA to do their job, okay? Crazy. If we need to communicate, get a Discord, get a WhatsApp group. We got to be a little bit more low key about how we are transferring this information. They are on the watch. They are on the lookout. And I'm not even just saying that as to like be funny. Like, ICE right now is surveilling everybody's social media. I'm probably on somebody's list at this point. I'm pretty sure I'm on somebody's list. But I'm on somebody's list to let y'all know to not be on somebody's list. So we got to go Black a little bit. We have to start practicing going Black on the Black knowledge and the Black information, okay? We got to have these conversations offline. And the last thing I want to say about how the 92 and the 79% can protest with being mindful of our self-preservation is we have to disconnect from these apps. And you're probably watching me right now on one of those apps: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, but those billionaires absolutely hate us, and they sold us out, specifically our data and information. So we need to do social media breaks, be very mindful about what you're posting, don't monetize. Well, I guess I wouldn't say don't monetize. It's all about how you're using that money and the content that you are putting out there, right? But we need to be mindful about what we're utilizing these apps for, what we are putting on these apps, and how we are using these apps. Because these apps sold us out a long time ago. Because baby, once we get the American version of TikTok, I'm all the way off it, to tell you the truth. Like, we knew earlier this year when TikTok went down for a little bit and then they came back and said, "Thank you, Trump." We already knew what time it was. And at that time, a lot of people started going over to Red Note and learning Chinese, and I love that for us. We're gonna have to start doing that again, finding other apps that we can connect on, because these, like the big five, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, they sold us out, baby. We gotta find something else, and that probably means we gotta learn another language. Just get to it. Now that we talked about solar punk, and we talked about the way that the 92%ers and the 79%ers are protesting for the good of our self-preservation, let's talk about how I can help my sisters out, because my sisters are specifically under attack right now. And this information is coming from Essence. Title is "More than 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs this year. The NAACP says it's no accident." And we knew it wasn't an accident. When the new administration came in talking about they were anti-woke and we're getting rid of DEI, we live not only in a white supremacist country, but we also live amongst patriarchy. So we kind of knew who was the first up when it came to kicking people out: Black women. Like, we knew that. We knew that. And we're seeing it right in our faces while they tell us, "Oh, we had budget cuts and you're just not doing the job and this isn't a good fit." I just want to take this moment right now to tell my sisters this: you did nothing wrong. You deserved that job. That job didn't deserve you, but you deserved that job. You are not incompetent. You are not a professional. This is a organized attack against us. I want you to pick your head up and know that brighter days are on the other side of all of this. I know it's hard. We have all been there. And we're going to talk about in a little bit what we can do to help our sisters in this time, as we are literally under attack. So, over 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce in recent months, and the number keeps getting worse. In April alone, more than 106,000 Black women lost their jobs, and the unemployment rate for Black women has jumped from 5.1% to 6.1% in a single month. Wow! While the national rate stayed near 4.2%. And now, mind you, I am recording this the second week of October, but by now, it has now climbed to 7.5%, and the gap between Black women and everyone else has been widening faster since 2020. With 300,000 women out of a job, what is at stake? Because for decades, the public sector gave jobs to Black women that the private sector could not offer. One, it could not offer us stability, benefits, pensions, and a real shot at building wealth. And these positions also meant representation in institutions that shaped education policy, housing, and civil rights enforcement. And when we lose those jobs, the impact reaches far beyond individual households. And we know that, because when it comes to Black women, many of us are not just going to work for us. Mind you, I'm a rich auntie, but I'm not going to work just for me or my niece. When we work and when we make wealth and build wealth, everyone around us also benefits. We are still helping parents. We are helping our children. A lot of us are the breadwinners of our family, and they know that. They being they know that. And that's why we were the first they came to target, not only because they could really hurt the Black community by targeting Black women, but also because they understood by targeting Black women, no one would care. Ain't it funny, right? How we did what we were supposed to do last November, and everybody was like, oh my God, well, it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. And now it is that bad. And Black women are not putting on their capes like they regularly expect for us to do. And they're mad that we're not putting on our capes. But at the same time, we are literally being attacked and no one is saying anything. No one is helping out. No one is standing up. They are critiquing the fact that we are not on the front lines right now while we are going through our literal hell by this administration. So what can we do to help our sisters? I actually recently saw an article where Minneapolis was putting on a job fair specifically for Black women to help them with interview prep, looking at their resume, and networking. That needs to be nationwide. So we need to start pulling in our sisters and saying, hey, how can I help you? If you were a Black woman that was recently affected by this government's layoffs, please put your comment down below. Reach out to me. I'll get a little network going on my own where if there are Black women that want to help and there are Black women that were affected, please let me know so that we can connect the two. If you are a Black woman that wants to assist, it can be with resume building, networking, interview prep. There's some Black women who just need $10 of gas to get to the job interview. There's some Black women who are like, I just need a interview dress. I need a good pair of office shoes. I don't have any. I need somebody to watch the kids while I go run to this interview to hopefully get a job. Thank you so much for coming to another episode of Tactless Radio. I am so happy to be back because, baby, we are back again. Make sure that you are following me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Tactless Radio. I will see you all very, very soon. Mwah. Ciao, Bella.